You must read more critically. These are words you will hear time and again, but trying to get someone to explain exactly what this means can be much more difficult. So what is it? What is critical reading? Well, critical reading means to not just read a text like you would a novel, but instead it requires you to evaluate the arguments in the text as you read, to try and distinguish fact from fiction, and to try and understand both sides of the arguments made by the author. To put it more simply, the main idea of critical reading is to evaluate the evidence or arguments presented, to spot any limitations in the design of the study, and to decide how much you agree or disagree with the arguments and opinions that the author puts forwards. There are 3 simple ways you can enhance your critical reading. These are to question, evaluate, and locate. Let's look at these in detail. When reading a text, you should question what the author says. You should think about and make notes to answer these questions as you read. What assumptions does the author make? Do you think that these assumptions are correct? Are the stages of the argument clear and logical? Are the writer's conclusions reasonable in light of the evidence that they present? You also need to evaluate what the author says. And to do this, you can answer these questions as you read. How do the conclusions relate to other similar research or papers? Are you persuaded by what the author says? And if so, why or why not? If someone asked you your opinion of the author's viewpoint, what would you say? And how will you use what the author says in your argument? Finally, you also need to locate the author in the discipline. By this I mean you need to see how this reading relates to other things that you've read and to other academic research. Try asking the following questions. What is the author's position on the issue? How is the author's argument different or similar to those of other experts and researchers on the subject? How does the author's argument and position fit with what you already know? Does the author's argument belong to a particular school of thought, for example, Marxism or feminism? If you can answer all of those questions, you have engaged in good critical reading, and you can use these notes to help you form new ideas in your essays. Do also take a look at my video on synthesizing text to see how this is done. And finally, I know you don't want to have to watch this video every time that you're reading, so the checklist of questions to ask each of the texts you look at is also available on page 30 of my study skills book, which can be downloaded for free using the link below.